We're here back in the Fantasy Bar, 6 plays for you for Monday night, including a couple of Yankees against the lefty, but maybe not the ones you're expecting. A mid-range starting pitcher, I think, has big-time upside in his matchup, and a guy that is absolutely on fire that I think keeps it going tonight. Who we talking about? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Monday edition, Beers Daily Fantasy Six-Pack. Good to be back here in the Fantasy Bar with 6 of my favorite plays for Monday night in MLB on FanDuel and DraftKings. Thank you, as always, for stopping by and checking out the video. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Now, before we get into the plays, as always, a few things we got to take care of. First of all, guys, continue to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. That's the tip jar here in the Fantasy Bar. Videos come to you free of charge. That is all I ask, is that. Subscribe to the channel. And lastly, make sure you check out scoresandodds.com/beer. Easy. Click the link in the description of the video. Tons of sports betting information, analytics, compare odds across different sports books, or get premium picks in all the major sports. Guys, there's weekly, monthly, yearly packages available, whatever suits you the best. But NFL season right around the corner. Why not arm yourself with more information? And you can find all that again, scoresandodds.com/beer. All right, let's get into the plays here for Monday night. Looks like a fun slate of games. As always, Coors Field on the docket, too easy. San Diego, obviously a ton of good hitters in that lineup, in that stadium. Again, we want to find you some guys outside of Coors. Not that it's a bad spot, just too easy. So let's do that. And let's start in the outfield with A.J. Pollock of the Dodgers. Pollock hit lefties well this season, kind of what we've seen over the course of his career. There's been a few waves here and there, but back to it here. ISO over 200, that WOBA over 400. What's really impressive, big hard contact number. We talked about it the other day. Anytime this number is around 50%, something you want to look at. When it's approaching 60%, something we really want to pay attention to here with A.J. Pollock. Also, a very good hitter against fastballs. Going to kind of be the theme of the show here. But WOBA at almost 500 against fastballs. ISO at 466. And he's going to see that about half the time from Brault. Now, Brault, limited sample here this season, but righties have hit him hard. 56.5% hard contact rate, along with a 267 ISO. We saw the Dodgers put up a ton of runs last night. I think they do it once again here tonight. And A.J. Pollock, one of my favorites here, to lead us off in the six-pack. All right, I promised you some Yankees, guys you probably weren't expecting. A lefty on the hill. We're thinking Judge, we're thinking Stanton. Nope, we're thinking outfielder Joey Gallo. Now, I don't have a problem with those guys, obviously. So we're going to build you a little Yankee stack here. Those two are fine, but Gallo, lefty on lefty, is always something people kind of shy away from. But Gallo's always hit left-handers well. Same thing here this season, 246 ISO, 366 weighted OBA. If you look at his career numbers, it's really eerie. It's almost exact. ISO, WOBA versus righties versus lefties. The exact same numbers for both. They're pretty close, within 1 or 2 percentage points of each other. So again, a guy that gets it done over the course of his career against lefties. This is not just a sample from this season. Also, like we talked about, very good against fastballs. Both the WOBA and ISO over 500 against that pitch. You'll see that about 40% of the time on average from Suarez. And Suarez, we see the ISO number. We know it's a measure of power. We know that's the name of the game for Joey Gallo, sitting at almost 260 against left-handed hitters here. So again, lefty on lefty, something you get very low ownership on here tonight. Take advantage of Joey Gallo in a good matchup with Suarez. All right, let's get you another Yankee here, and guess what? Another lefty, second baseman, third baseman, Ruben Odor. So again, you throw Stan, you throw Judge, you throw some of those righties in there, you got a nice little stack, and these lefties may help you differentiate that stack against the rest of the people out there, but Odor's number's even better against lefties than Gallo's. 270 ISO for him, 382 the weighted OBA. Again, fastball's the name of the game here, 395 WOBA, 274 ISO against that pitch. And Suarez, not only the ISO given up, WOBA at 412, two left-handed hitters, and a 37% hard contact rate. So love these Yankees. I think these lefties going to be low owned against the lefty in Suarez. Let's take advantage here tonight on both FanDuel and DraftKings. All right, let's get you a six-pack Hall of Famer. First ballot, maybe the best performer ever in six-pack history. We're going with Nelson Cruz of the Rays. So his first appearance here as a Tampa Bay Ray, but this guy has always been very good to us. Now, generally, lefties is where we target this guy, but very good numbers against righties as well. 272 ISO this year, Woba at 350. Yes, fastballs back in the mix here. 407 Woba against that pitch. 364 the ISO. And he'll see that right around 40% of the time on average from Matt Harvey. And Harvey has had some spots where he's looked better. I know he's a ground ball pitcher. I get that. So those ground balls do not mean he's not going to give up home runs, and he struggled with righties big time. You see that Woba at 376 and a hard contact rate approaching 40%. So Nelson Cruz has been kind of up and down here since joining the Rays, but I think we get it up here tonight. And I like this matchup with Nelson Cruz against Matt Harvey. All right, let's get you a starting pitcher in the mid-range. I think this guy has some good upside here tonight. That's Touki Toussaint of the Braves. So Toussaint been solid in the strikeout department. 5 or more strikeouts now in 4 of his first 5 starts. We saw a double-digit strikeout performance. I really like this guy long-term. I think he's got a lot of potential here, and I really love the potential here tonight against the Miami Marlins, striking out at a 25.2% clip, 6th highest in all of Major League Baseball. You look at some of the other numbers we always talk about. ISO, they are 27th in the league. Woba, 21st. WRC plus, 18th. So it's a very punchless lineup that strikes out a lot. I'm going to look at some props as well for Toussaint. If you can find a nice strikeout prop at 5, 5.5, I would take advantage of it here against this Marlins team. But in DFS, the prices look good on both sites, going to allow you to spend up on some of these premium bats or Coors Field if you choose that route. But Toussaint, fantastic value here tonight against the Miami Marlins. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for Monday night. But before we do that, we want to continue our Beast of the Night contest. Free to play. This is a thank you to you guys for watching the video, hitting that thumbs up, subscribing, everything we're always asking you in the beginning. All you have to do is get in the comment section right below the video and get fantasy points on DraftKings for my highest scoring hitter of the 5 bats I'm going to give you. All I need is the fantasy points. The closest guess will win themselves either a free 3-day pass to Rotogrinders Premium or a free Rotogrinders t-shirt. Let's wrap this baby up. My favorite play for Monday night. You know him as the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time, and I promise you a guy that is absolutely locked in right now. We're going to stay with the Atlanta Braves, maybe the hottest hitter in the league, second baseman Ozzie Albies, tonight's Beast of the Night. Now, talk about a man on fire here. Albies, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs over his last 7 games, so he's really turned it up in the power department here. Very good numbers against lefties as well. You see that ISO approaching 300, the WOBA over 400. And another guy, and it's all 6 guys hit fastballs well, and they're all going to see a good amount of fastballs here. Woba and ISO, both over 540 against fastballs for Ozzie Albies, and a good matchup here with Garrett, 356. Woba allowed 35% hard contact rate. Love the Braves here tonight. I think these bats are going to help Toussaint get out to a lead. Part of the reason I like him, pitching with some run support here. But Ozzie Albies, whether you stack him, whether you don't, my favorite play on the board, and easily tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that wraps up for Monday night in the Fantasy Bar. As always, if you have any comments, questions, feedback, hit me up in the comment section right below the video. Don't forget fantasy points on DraftKings for my highest scoring hitter, or a shot at some Rotogrinders Premium. And guys, I'm going to say it again. Don't forget to go check out scoresandodds.com/beer. Click the link in the description of the video. Go and check it out for yourself. I promise you, you're going to like what you see. For Rotogrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck. We'll be right back here tomorrow with another 6-pack video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist.
is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here at Dean 7904. That is the DFS, the daily fantasy handle around the industry. It's 5:30 in the East Coast, 2:30 West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time on the dot. Of course, same just time for the flagship show here at Rotogrinders. It's called Grinderslive. Joining me today, we're not messing around. 3-man booth, 2 of my favorites. One I like a little bit more. You guys know. I mean, it's not worth getting into it on air, but it's pretty clear. We'll have the conversation another time, Grant. Will, Chief Justice, what's going on, dude? How are things in your world? How's Monday treating you?
Well, it's good. You guys know I was on vacation, so I am back. Glad to be back in the saddle, trying to come out strong. Let's see if we can, make a little money first day back of the first day back. Let's just go with that. I did dabble a little bit on vacation, but trust me, it was nowhere near usual volume. And so I'm excited, man. I think this is going to be a real good slate. Got some interesting angles here.
We talked pre-shows about the power of the Hattie B's hat. I'm not sure how many times you can go to that well, but you said, you bought the Hattie B's hat and you won $100K that night when you basically bought it. And I guess that's a thing. And apparently that's happened to multiple people around the industry. I don't know if you could overuse that. If that's you have like a one time, you can only call it one time and that's it. Or can you keep going back? How many times does that Hattie B's hat work is the question.
Listen, it worked when I intended for it to work, and it was right after I bought it. So we're going to go with we get the magic Willy Wonka ticket maybe once in a lifetime. So I use my magical Hattie B's brim to pull in $100K, and the rest is on me.
Fair enough. Grant, you got yourself a magic ticket as well there with your Hattie B's hats. How are things on Monday for you?
You're just making fun of me, and we spent 2 hours and 58 minutes on the phone just 9 days ago, Dean.
What did we talk about?
I have no idea.
I don't remember either. I'm sure it was
all I know is I had 3 hours before my buddies were joining me for video games. I'm like, I'll give Dean a call. That'll take out an hour, and then 3 hours later, you still hadn't shut up.
Well, I mean, thanks for inviting me to kill some zombies. I would like to partake if somebody would give me the, an invite of some sort. Not to say anything.
I mean, you need to download the game, you dumb.
What game is it?
Call of Duty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I played the Fortnite. Call of Duty. I don't think I played that one just yet. You got to pay for that.
Speaking of which, speaking of Call of Duty, they got some Call of Duty championships coming up, and we will be able to make some wagers. That's about as much as I know. I have played Call of Duty, but I'm more of a sports guy. I play more Madden, 2K, Madden, 2K. That's about it. I used to play NCAA football before they got rid of that. But now that they pay the players, they might as well just bring it back. Just put it on back in circulation, folks.
I think it's coming back. I'm pretty certain. And it's more fun because you got the option there and you got 100+ teams and you could be, but UCF won the championship, not just in real life, but also in my video game many years ago as well. Super excited about football starting up really soon. College football, 3 weeks or so?
Dean, I just Googled UCF never won the championship.
No. Use Bing. Bing will tell you they won the championship. They beat. You got to use the right. You got to use the off-brand search engines. It definitely happened. They had a parade at Disney World. There are pictures and everything. It for sure happened. There was a banner. If you put a banner up, that means it happened. That's the rules. Yeah. Oh, you were talking about. Do we have content for that?
You put a banner up? If you put a banner up, that means it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Devin, you're a production guy. Can you give me, let's see, a banner that says
not like a lower third, like a physical banner you can hold? I'm talking about like a big old banner at Disney or something like that. We're national champs.
Oh, I can buy a banner that says "Best Love Maker in the World." Does not mean it will be true.
Well, they have those mugs that say "World's Number One Dad." Yeah. There's more than one "World's Number One Dad" mug. So by math, that's just not possible. Somebody's lying. A lot of liars out there.
It could be a tie. Do you not know how ties work?
Yeah, I know.
Have you ever seen soccer?
I'm aware of
the ties every day there.
Yes. Yes. I'm aware of soccer. I'm aware of, hey, speaking of that, that's a good segue because I'm not certain. Do you guys know, do we actually have content, here for League of Legends? I think with League of Legends we do. I think I'm just speaking at the butt right now, but I don't know if we have Call of Duty content. Maybe we have for that, but every single sport we have content for. Of course, football around the corner, baseball. We're going to talk about right now. You can get just one sport, $10 off for all the sports. That's NFL, college football, NHL. I know it's off season, but soon enough, college football. Said that twice. It still works. Same deal. MMA, golf, League of Legends. I'm sure I'm missing a couple sports, but yeah, you guys can get $10 off that way as well too. Everything with the exception of NASCAR. Go ahead and get click that link there. Devin, fabulous multitasking producer, went ahead and dropped that for the people there in chat. What up, chat? Do like, do subscribe, do turn on notifications, do ask some questions. These fabulous gentlemen are here to help you. Very, very strong tournament plays. We focus mostly on tournaments here. That is the brunt of our conversation. We'll talk about stacks soon enough, obviously, but whatever you guys want us to talk about, we're happy to do so. We'll do that the last 10 minutes of the show, give or take, depending on how things are going as far as our conversation. But yeah, give us as many specifics as possible. Tell us if you want to talk about FanDuel, you want to talk about DraftKings, cash, we can talk about cash, this guy or that guy, overarching this tournament, like philosophies or like your approach as far as the slate tonight. Anything you want us to tackle, we're happy to do so. Grant, you want to tackle this one first as far as your thoughts as far as the slate tonight? General, like, give me the screenshot.
I mean, there's a lot of really good offenses that you can go with that I will go with. Coors looks fantastic. It's hot as fudge out here. It is so hot. I'm sweating. Like I just ate a half pound of meatballs.
Why no tank top if you didn't plan this one out appropriately?
Because I'm moving. All my stuff is at another location.
All your tank tops, all your good shirts are packed up.
Yes, that is exactly correct. Or they're dirty. But yeah, like Coors is fantastic tonight. But we have like 5 different teams outside of that with over a 5 implied team total. San Fran, Dodgers, Astros, the Rays, and the Yankees, and the Reds. Like, and all of them are pretty solid overall plays. But there's some ownership's going to be interesting on this because, like, there's some that I'm just entirely crossing out because of the ownership they're going to get.
Well, I don't know how. I think it's a tricky one to predict as far as ownership because, like you said, and I agree with you. The game in Coors is a 13 total. I feel like we haven't seen a 13 total in Coors in a while, partially because Colorado does a hard job keeping up their end as far as the projection, but they're projected for 6. San Diego on the other side projected for 7. Dodgers are well positioned versus Brault. Tampa, hate that ballpark, but like the matchup versus Harvey. Not the best Tampa lineup for what it's worth, missing some of their key pieces, but that'll bring up some pinch hit stuff later on in the game probably. The Yankees always a threat in that ballpark facing Suarez, who, he's not very good. He gets ground balls, but otherwise can give up plenty of power. And the Dodgers, did I mention the Dodgers too? You talk about Cincinnati, no Winker, but still that lineup, plenty of power in that lineup too. Astros are going to be kind of sort of lost, but yeah, Chief, your thought as far as this slate, and I agree with Grant. It's just a bunch of good hitting spots. The pitcher's pretty weak. It thins out quickly, and we'll have we'll have a question mark conversation about Cole coming back from COVID and what leash we might expect from him. But Will, your screenshot before we delve in and break down some pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting it to be, fairly spread out, especially looking at this ownership. A lot more people are maybe going to be on the Rays, or at least some of these lefties like Lau and Austin Meadows. Like, I actually expect them to come in a little bit lower. I got a hot take on Matt Harvey later, but I think it is going to be spread out. My favorite team. I say this all the time. You don't have to ask me who I'm going to roster, Dean. You can probably look at the slate and already figure that out. Come on, Dean. I'll give you one shot.
Well, now that
Atlanta?
No. That's not my DFS team.
Well, that's your favorite team, yeah.
I do have a DFS team that I roster, and I bet the chat probably already knows. Let's see if the chat can figure this out, because Dean, I mean, we've been on shows.
Well, you don't like Coors as a general rule. I know you're willing to like.
As a general rule, I mean, I would probably be in on it today, because the pitchers are like really bad. But come on, chat, don't let me down.
Is it the Reds? I'm going to say it's the Reds.
Okay, great. Just stop. Just stop. Chat.
Am I wrong?
You guys should know which team I'm typically on.
Cleveland.
When nobody's on them. No, it's not Cleveland. No more guesses for you guys. They are guessing. They've got Oakland, got the Braves. It's not one of those. Oh, this is good trivia. The Dodgers, no. There we go, Herbert. Houston. Think about it, Dean. Come on. I'm always on Houston. Always. There we go, Herb.
But
Herbert,
wait, Will, I don't know if you know this. Brantley can't get a lot of points. He just has never hit a home run in his life, according to Dean.
No, stop it.
Well, there it is. See, everybody knows it's Houston. Like, that's my team, Dean. I'm going to be in on Houston. And then Brandon gets the special boost up here and says Michael Brantley, who's absolutely my favorite DFS player in the world. Thank you, Brandon.
Why do you
Houston
like?
it
Why
is.
is your favorite DFS player in the world like of still living in the world in 1995? Like he's a great hitter.
Okay, yeah. Here's why, Dean. He's always underpriced and he's always scoring fantasy points. Always underpriced.
Not a ton, plenty, but not a ton.
I mean,
Okay, you say
you
plenty, but not a
realize
ton.
he has a higher WOBA than Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, but what's his ISO?
151.
That's not good. That's not good.
Not
ISO.
horrible when you
Well,
consider a 393 WOBA.
Yeah,
But guess what
I
he's
think
gonna
in the
do,
league in
Dean?
batting average last I checked. I'm pretty sure he is. At least,
Dean,
but
he's
that's
got
great.
a 10% K rate.
Yeah, he'll get a single.
Is that okay? But people
like
should be
singles?
on base. I do like singles when RBIs are coming with it. And I also like singles when he's going to get driven in for another 2 or 3 runs. Anyway, I'm not going to argue with Dean about this. I'm not doing it. But anyway, Michael Brantley, folks, that's my favorite DFS player. He's 3.3K on DK, Dean.
Yeah,
Come on.
He's a really solid cash game play, and I'm not here to besmirch. I think it is a really good hitter, professional
Gee, he's
hitter.
almost averaging as much points per game as Manny Machado.
Okay, okay, great. Is he averaging as much as Ohtani?
No, but is he half the price of Ohtani? Yes.
Okay, you're just pick one Machado.
We live in a world of a salary cap, you dummy.
What? It sounds like a really sharp guy. He said that once, maybe.
Sounds
Possibly.
like a big dummy does and then ignores it when it doesn't fit his narrative.
I like to pick and choose when the conversation helps my. Yeah. So we're not talking about hitters right now. We can put the Brantley conversation on layaway.
We will. We will.
Look, he's a great hitter, but like he needs his team. He's not a guy that can do it himself. Is the point?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You already know Michael Brantley's going to hit a home run tonight. Listen to Dean right now. It's going over the wall. And if he doesn't hit a home run, he scores enough points to get you there.
Mike Zunino is like 3 times as many homers as Michael Brantley.
Okay, but he's gonna score a 0 10 games in a row.
Yeah, but this is DFS. We want to win or we want to lose. We don't want to.
I want to win. That's why I roster Michael Brantley.
All right, let's talk about Garrett
He's
Cole.
such a dummy.
And I'm not even arguing against him. I like him, but I like him generally as a cash game piece or as a guy who's kind of like if you play him on as part of a Houston stack, like he's going to knock guys in and guys are going to knock him in. But he can't
watch this. Okay, so I think this is where we are. My bad. Cash game plays are overrated. We need fantasy points to win, right?
Yeah,
so
preferably.
So if Michael Brantley is going to score 12 DK points tonight at 3,300, would you take it right now?
How many?
12.
No more, no less?
No more, no less.
Sure. I mean, I
okay,
guess.
Good, because he scored that in 3 of his last 4 games.
Okay, but if every one of my hitters scores 12 points, I'm probably not winning again.
No, but that's the thing, Dean. We live in a world of a salary cap.
So you need the better hitters to score.
But listen, but if you're building lineups, right? If we're building lineups, I'm not expecting everybody to score 12. I'm drafting Michael Brantley in my Houston stack because if Yordan Alvarez hits a home run, Michael Brantley is most likely on base with a single or a walk. And then guess what he's going to do? He's going to come back up to the plate again. He's going to hit a double. And Altuve is going to be on base. He's going to drive him in. And then Carlos Correa is going to come up and hit a single. And Brantley's going to just run on into home. And you're going to look at the end of the night and say, how in the world did Michael Brantley get to 18 fantasy points? He didn't do anything. Well, he hit the ball every time he got to the plate.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is he needs multiple events. I like the guys that can do
and he's going to have
one
them.
swing of the bat.
Speaking of that, last thing, and I promise we'll get off Michael Brantley. If you go on over the scores and odds, me and my boy Grant got some good ones over there today.
What do you have?
And I know we don't have the graphics for it, but I absolutely took Michael Brantley over 1.5 hits, and I think I got it at plus. Did I get it at plus 200 today, Grant, or plus 150? It's up there. I mean, it's really good odds.
I think it's plus 150. You know what? I'm going to put money on that.
Yep, plus 150. Michael Brantley over 1.5 hits.
Is that hits plus walks? Just hits.
And that's on Bet MGM. If you want to know. So here's the deal. I'm not just talking plays. If I'm going to talk about a guy, I'm going to roster him, and I'm also going to make money on the other side. I think he gets 3 hits today.
You wanna actually hit it over on DraftKings. They got a plus 180.
Yes. The odds probably changed in our favor, Grant.
Yeah, well, they didn't have it up earlier when you put it up.
DK is listening. They heard the
Yeah. It was at plus 150, I think, earlier. So I said plus 1. Yeah. All right. Anyway,
No, that's
I'm
RBI's
done.
eggs on my face.
Okay.
Do we have the Angels? Are the Angels playing baseball tonight? Is Joe Madden? woken
Yeah,
up
the
from his
line
nap?
came out 5 minutes ago. Dean, pay attention.
All right. Well, we're having a conversation. All right. I wanted to make sure the Angels are running on a bunch of dudes that swing and miss, and that's what we have, right? Outside of Fletcher, it's a bunch of guys that swing and miss a ton. Ohtani's great, but he swings and misses a ton. Holy shout out to Joe Madden. Only took 120 games from to realize Ohtani's his best player, and he should be leading off as opposed to Fletcher and all that nonsense. Gosling. Oh,
Well, Fletcher's not a bad leadoff hitter. He makes good contact.
he's like a poor man's Michael Brantley.
Oh gosh,
He really is.
I'm not letting you bait me back into another Michael Brantley conversation.
All right, let's have the conversation about Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, the clear best pitcher on the slate. The one hole you can poke at him, of course, is he has not pitched in 17 days. He was dealing with a COVID issue, and I think it hit him reasonably hard. He talked about it on the game. If you watch the Field of Dream games, he was mic'd up in one of the innings and in good spirits. Like Garrett Cole, my understanding, he's kind of an ornery fella, but he seemed pleasant.
Now it's horny.
What?
Now it's horny, not ornery.
No, ornery. Well, I don't. He might be both. I'm not sure, but ornery they're both words.
Disagree.
What? Disagree that ornery. You disagree that ornery is a word.
Horny is a word.
Oh, that's a word too. Yeah, you can use Google or Bing, whichever one, it'll confirm. 35% K rate the last 2 seasons, 5.7% for 5.7% as far as the walk. That's solid as well too. He does draw an extreme hitters umpire for what it's worth. But again, this LA lineup, Iglesias is in there, which is kind of annoying. He's a 14% strikeout guy, not a big number, but otherwise, Marsh 37%. The rookie's going to be overmatched. Stassi at 29%. Adele, plenty of Ks there too. 25.2% collectively. What do you have here? Grant, how concerned are you as far as the leash for Cole on the season? Nobody, the only guy that does it is Zach Wheeler. He's the only guy in baseball that throws more baseballs per game as far as pitches thrown. Cole is second. So if his leash gets knocked down to like 87 or 93 or 95, that's still reasonably acceptable. And he should be able to compile a fair bit of amount of Ks here. Cole, how much are you prioritizing him?
I'm now starting to think about just full on fading him for Montas.
Because of this conversation, or just what just happened? What was the revelation?
So Cole has an extreme hitters umpire. Montas has an extreme pitcher umpire. Cole's going to be 43% owned. Montas is going to be 10% owned. Montas has Cole-like numbers over the last month. Actually, probably better than Cole numbers over the last month.
34%.
The strikeout rate sitting at 35%. The lineup, I'm a little bit disappointed. There's only 3 lefties in there, which isn't great, but Montas for some reason has been striking out righties at a massive clip over the last month. I think he's sitting at 33% to righties, 38% to lefties. So I prefer more 32 and 36 looks like. But he's striking out righties at a huge clip. He's not walking righties. He's getting a lot of ground balls. He's not getting up a lot of fly balls. He's going up against a team that strikes out at an above average clip. They aren't terribly patient outside of the bottom of the order. Lamb's not even in the lineup, neither is Collins. So they're not terribly patient. This is just a great or a good overall spot. Jax just struck out 10 White Sox like a week ago. They can strike out a decent amount, and Montas is just going to go entirely unowned. Like he's throwing heat, that slider's breaking nicely. Like this is just the tear that he's been on recently, and no one's going to be on him at less than Cole, who may end up only going 90 pitches. I was on Cole all this morning, and the more I dig into it, I think I might like the clear GPP move is to take Montas over Cole.
Yeah, I love him as a tournament pivot. I actually agree with that thought process, and he's also
maybe I should be off him then.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's in between. Like we'll talk about Tuki Toussaint in a second, and Tuki Toussaint's the guy that's really popping because he's facing the Marlins, and I know the Marlins scored 11 runs in that one inning against the Cubbies, and they absolutely annihilated Chicago. But it's still a bad lineup, and it's still a bad ballpark. We'll have I want to get Jesus' take as far as Toussaint as well too. But whatever you want to handle as far as Montas and Cole, by all means, go for it, Chief. But the other thing is, I think FanDuel's a little trickier to get Cole just because DK, you can find those 2K cheapies if you want to. That second pitcher a little bit cheaper. You can get the bats and the arms if you want to. FanDuel's a little bit harder to get Cole and like all the bats you want, as far as what I can tell. So it's an interesting conversation to have. And again, Cole's probably not going to throw 95 or 100 pitches. Probably not. We'll see. Chief.
Yeah, I I think if I'm doing Cole, I think I'm taking a fade. I don't think I would do it just because of the ownership. And I'm not saying he can't go out and get the Ks, but I did hear some rumblings, and I was trying to find the article that he is going to be a little limited tonight. So, the difference in 100 pitches and 85 pitches could be for him 2 or 3 more strikeouts, depending on how well he's running. And so I still think, Garrett Cole can go, 6 innings and 6 Ks, 7 Ks maybe. But I also, I agree with Grant. I definitely like Frankie Montas tonight, going against the White Sox. He's one of my favorites. And I'm mainly talking FanDuel, so I always want to clear that up so people know what I'm talking about. The DK pricing is going to be a little bit different. But I do like him. For me, I think if I'm on FanDuel as well, when I'm looking at the ownership on Touki Toussaint, because I know you mentioned that he's sitting around 28%. I clearly think Touki Toussaint is going to be okay today, right? Like, I don't think this is some bad spot for him. But I think for me, what I would be willing to do is go and play a sneaky, a guy that's been pitching, a little bit better over the past 4 or 5 games than Cal Quantrill. And let's see if I can catch him upside in the bottle. His recent form is a little bit better than he's been for the season. And I did kind of write up about that on Scores and Odds today as well, obviously, or ironically. But, his K rate's up a little bit. The Minnesota Twins lineup isn't, some overpowering lineup like before. And he's actually been sneaky good against lefties, got a 27% K rate to lefties over that span. So that should neutralize the likes of a Max Kepler, a Luis Arias. And while Arias isn't like some, crazy hitter, he's got a really low strikeout rate. Jake Cave, he should be able to get him a couple of times. You got Miguel Sano in this lineup, who's basically Mike Zunino at first base. He's either going to hit a home run or strike out. And so I think, Cal Quantrill's got some upside. I do think Touki has the better matchup. So across the board, I think Touki has a better matchup. But I think on FanDuel, you could really get different here with Cal, and possibly Cal could put up a better score than Touki if things don't break his way completely. Also, since I'm on the subject, because we did talk about Montas, Devin, can we roll the beautiful bean footage that is Prize Picks? Because I got some of those for you today. And we're talking about Frankie and we're talking about Cal. And earlier today, I got these guys, Frankie at 35 fantasy points and Cal at 24.5. I thought that was incredibly too low considering the way he's pitched. Had he come in at around 29, I probably would have just taken the fade. I've got, so I'm taking the over on both of those, over on Cal, over on Frankie Montas. I think Montas is up to 36 and Cal was up to 25.5 the last time I checked before the show. But those two together, that's my 2-pick power for the day. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you my hot take now. And I said I had a Matt Harvey hot take. It wasn't really a DFS hot take. It was more of a Prize Picks hot take. If you're on Prize Picks today, you look at Matt Harvey, his fantasy point projection is 16.5. Matt Harvey's going over 16.5 fantasy points, if I'm not mistaken, in 5 out of the last 8 or 5 out of the last 7 or something like that. He's put up some really respectable performances here. I'm not saying he's going to go out and light the world on fire, but I'm saying for him to go over 16 fantasy points isn't that bad considering his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. He's at 34, 40, 44, 9, and 21. I just thought that was a little bit too low. Matt Harvey's not great anymore, but to get over 16.5, he doesn't have to do a whole lot. Just maybe not give up 6 runs in the 6th inning. I think he can get over 16.5. That was my Matt Harvey hot take, not for DFS, but for Prize Picks, absolutely. And I didn't run a lot on that one. I think I ran like a $50 power or 4-pick power. I'm going to get 10X back on that, by the way, if it hits. So there you go. I'm done. Dean, back over to you.
You mentioned Prize Picks, and hey, this is convenient. If you sign up for Prize Picks today, use the promo code Grinders, GRINDERS, with your first deposit for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. There you go. Have at it. Grant, I don't know. Did you happen to have any Prize Picks winners?
I did. Franmil over 6.5. CJ Cron over 8. Tatis over 10.
Oh, wow. Tatis over 10. All right.
He gets a home run. He's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Michael Brantley needs like 4 at-bats to get over 10, I think.
No, Michael Brantley only needed 2 at-bats the last time because I took him over 8.5 fantasy points against whoever they were playing against in in LA for the Angels. I can't remember who it was. He needed 2 at-bats, right? His second at-bat, he hit a double RBI. And guess what? He was over. He walked the first, he hit a single the first time, double RBI the second time. He was over. So I don't want to hear this, Dean. It's really simple math. You just add up the fantasy points and you go to work. I'm not talking about Michael Brantley anymore until we get the stats. I'm not letting Dean hoodwink me into getting back in this conversation.
By the way, extreme, we talk about the Cole having extreme hitters umpire, extreme pitchers umpire for the guy Grant was touting over there, Montas. So
yeah, it's almost like I mentioned that, Dean.
Well, I wanted to focus on that. I thought that was important and worth noting, at least to some degree. Kind of moves it. Is that where that was one of the things that kind of like had you swaying off it? I guess both in the combination of the projected ownership right now.
I mean, it's a whole bunch of different things, but yeah, I mean, extreme pitcher compared to extreme hitter umpire, extreme strikeout rate for both. Montas has been fantastic, coming in great form. Probably can go more pitches than Cole because Cole hasn't pitched in 14 days, whatever it is. It's just a spot where, like, Montas, when you incorporate ownership, Montas is just the drastically superior play.
I think Toussaint is 45% projected owner on DK. Of course, DK, you're rostering 2 starting pitchers, and let's have that conversation, Grant, because the Marlins offering plenty of strikeouts. Sanchez is back, by the way. I think he was on the IL or maybe just down in the minors. He's back in that lineup. 26% as far as strikeouts offering, strikeouts against righties. Toussaint in the season, 24.1%. The walk, 7.8%, a little bit high, but this Marlins team is not patient. Outside of Anderson and Diaz, basically nobody walks here. What are you doing with that ownership? And if you're playing Montas, like, you could just pair Montas and Toussaint and, get away from some chalk as far as Cole on DK. Is that something you're considering? Or you're throwing where are you at as far as Toussaint, that 45%?
I mean, I kind of have to. I already took the over on this prop, and it was only at 5.5 for strikeouts, and it just seems bad. I mean, you look at his matchups this season: San Diego, Cincy. He's only had 5 starts. San Diego, Cincy. Who are the other guys?
Yeah, one against St. Louis where he got torched. That was just a bad game.
Yeah, that was just a random one. That was his easiest matchup he's had all season. Like, it's been Cincy, St. Louis, Milwaukee, Philly, San Diego. So he hasn't had the easiest pitching schedule. And we look at this guy, and he does get a little bit wild, but Miami does not walk at all. Like, they are just a horrible overall lineup. They strike out.
It's almost like I said that. I had something to get you back for me not listening, and now you weren't listening to me.
No one ever listens to you, so I have to repeat it.
Well, I thought it was not an outlier. Fair, understood. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Toussaint, like, he mostly worry about him walking guys. Miami doesn't walk. Pitcher umpire, big strikeout lineup. Currently, the one they have in there is 26% this season, plus the pitcher. Like, Toussaint's a very solid overall pitcher. This isn't his first season. Last season, he was striking out guys at a 25% clip, has gotten the walks a little bit in control. We look at all starts this season, and it's been tough, and he still has been walking guys, but only sitting at its 8% clip so far this season, and that's with some very patient lineups that he's already faced. So everything considered, and the fact that he's in a fantastic ballpark for pitching, like, this is just a spot where if he's going to get beat up, it's going to be completely on BABIP. But, like, I'm willing to take that even at 45% ownership. Like, I'm just finding it tough to get off him because the only other real choice is Wade Miley. Like, I don't like anyone else, really. I mean, you can go with Keuchel, you can go with Garrett, you can go with any of these guys, but are any of them actually going to do that much? Probably not.
Gausman's really good. We haven't talked about Gausman, but he's basically, he's in between.
Gausman's also 10K. I'd rather play Montas, and it's tough to play both Gausman and Montas. I will do that a little bit, but I want to pay it for bats today.
Yeah, that's the tricky one. And I know I've seen, speculation as far as the Dodgers talking about, DK has Gratterall as the potential opener, but I guess the Dodgers haven't officially said who's going to be pitching tonight, but there's speculation that they're going to be calling out Andre Jackson, who is not, he's can pitch 3 to 5 innings or something like that. I think that's what he pitched his last 2 minor league starts. And the Pirates obviously are terrible. They have a 3.25 team total. And, there's some win equity there as well. I would want an opener, actually, if I'm playing Jackson. It extends his chance to get into the 5th, 6th, 7th inning or something like that. As far as, you can't get the win if you only pitch the first 4. Doesn't work like that as far as the official scorer. Odorizzi's throwing baseballs, but he's hard to get excited about. I agree there. Toussaint is really, really cheap on FanDuel, but they're kind of sort of babying those pitchers there in Miami. And that Atlanta lineup looks much better now. Like 1 through 7 is pretty solid with the addition of the health of Darno. Fleming, is another guy, same kind of deal as the Dodgers. McHugh probably draws the start. Fleming's got a shot at grabbing that W.
By the way, McHugh had a 4.5 K total over on PointsBet this morning because they didn't realize he was just an opener.
Oh yeah. Listen, that was the prop of the day, Grant. When I saw that, I said, "Oh my gosh!" That's like the lock of all locks. Just go ahead and take your money to the bank.
You guys
take it right now.
As soon as I hit that, I threw it up on Scores and Odds and then texted every one of my friends to bet it immediately, and they took it down shortly.
Grant, you must have not went through. I didn't get a text today.
There's a reason for that. Not friend.
McHugh's got a 37% carry rate this season.
That's fine. McHugh hasn't had over 3 strikeouts all season.
Yeah, it's a good bet, obviously. How much were you able to get?
I tried to put down a G. They limited me like 250, but it's still $153.
Hey, whatever it is, man. Yeah. Any thoughts, Will, before we move on, talk about some hitters, talk about some stacks as far as the pitchers? We're just kind of sort of mentioning Gausman in passing, which I think we should give him a little bit more respect, but I understand why. Miley, he's not fun, but it's the Cubs, and the Cubs are dreadful. Anything else that's worth a look here for you?
Well, I think on FanDuel, Gausman is a good alternate. The problem is I don't think he's going to outscore Frankie Montas. Here's the deal. When I look at these numbers for Gausman on the season versus, where he's at now, on the season, he's at a 30.4% K rate and a 3.73 xFIP. Last 30 days, because you guys know I do like to look at recent data to just kind of see. He's at a 27% K rate, 4.4 xFIP, and a 12% walk rate. Oh, by the way, these top 5 hitters for the Mets aren't striking out in the last 30 days. It's insane. Brandon Nemo's at 16%, Conforto's at 17%, Pete Alonso's at 16%, Dom Smith is at 19%, McNeil's at 11%. And then you've got JD Davis, VR, and McCann, who are in the 20s. JD Davis is at 32%. But then you go and look on the season, and yeah, they're up a little bit more. Nemo's at 23, Conforto at 18, Pete Alonso at 20. I like Gausman, and I definitely think he has the upside. But these recent numbers do scare me just a tad. I actually think the Mets are a little bit sneaky here as kind of an off-the-wall stack. Just off the wall, though, nothing crazy. And they're very cheap on FanDuel.
Final thoughts there, Grant, as far as pitchers?
Yeah, Gausman, his inconsistency lately and his massive walk rate worries me. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I was all in on Toussaint and Montas. If you're going cheap, like Jackson is not the worst idea in the world of 4K to pay for some bats, but it's predominantly just Montas and Toussaint for me.
Monitor that situation. We're not really certain who's going to be pitching for the Dodgers just yet. That's just sort of the speculation. And again, DK's got somebody different. They have an opener, at least one of the relief pitchers. Maybe it's just a bullpen game, but there is, some chatter that Jackson's going to be the guy that gets at least, probably 3 to 4, depending on how things are going, obviously. And he's 4K. He's a way to open stuff up and pay up from some bats. And that's a good segue here. Will, stacks. Let's have a stack conversation. One of the things today I think is interesting, and maybe this is different than others, and you're supposed to go 4-4 by the book on FanDuel, on DK 5-3. Like you're supposed to kind of sort of do that. I think that the offenses are stacked today. Coors 13 total, San Diego, Colorado. I like the Dodgers versus Brault, Tampa against Harvey, bad ballpark, but still against good bats against bad arm. Cincy's fine. I think the Yankees are a team that can absolutely go off. Not afraid of Suarez. You mentioned Houston. What do you think of like a 3-3-2 strategy on FanDuel as far as my stacks, or even like on hold on, let me do my math here. 4-2-2, like a three teams, extended to 3 teams as opposed to 2. Your thoughts on that?
I think if I'm doing that, for me, the way I play that is I'm typically going to look at plate IQ and I'm saying, okay, who are the guys that look the best in all of these spots? And for me, that's more of a single entry strategy for me on that one. With all these offenses today, especially on FanDuel, I'm probably mostly going 4-4. I don't think I'd be venturing off too much because I think we're going to see some big numbers. So that's just my approach on this particular slate. I think the offenses in totality are going to be really good versus trying to absolutely pick and choose. So that's my approach for this slate. But I do think in terms of one of the more sneakier stacks we're going to have is in an obvious spot that no one's just going to attack, and that's the Colorado Rockies against Ryan Weathers. Everybody's going to be on the Padres, and nobody's going to be on the Rockies. And the Rockies have just as good a chance as anybody. I know we think that the Rockies are bad and so forth and so on, but Ryan Weathers is also bad with an 18% K rate and a 5.06 xFIP, and that's on the season. Last 30 days isn't much different. And if you look at the last 30 days of the Rockies, Joe, Rogers, Story's got a 26% K rate, but those two have 20.7% respectively, 29 plate appearances. What I like even more, 300 ISOs to both of these guys, right? Charlie Blackmon over the last 30 days, 5% K rate. CJ Cron, 357 ISO, 18% K rate. Listen, I think the Rockies are going to put up some runs here. They may actually win this game, and I'm not trying to exaggerate. So the Rockies are a really, really sneaky team for me on this slate. Especially, I'm looking at the ownership. I'm looking at the prices. Connor Joe's 2,900, Brandon Rogers 33. Yeah, Trevor Story's 4K and CJ Cron, but I can build some lineups on FanDuel with ease with these prices. So in terms of kind of my sneaky stack, Colorado is absolutely at the top of my list. I know we'll get into home run calls later, so I won't hand those out. I got a couple guys that I do like. We've already talked enough about Houston. That's going to be, one of my top stacks on the day. And then in terms of a sneaky stack, another kind of sneaky stack, and I guess not as sneaky, it's going to be the Cincinnati Reds against Justin Steele. I don't think they're getting a whole lot of ownership today, but they've been a hot offense. I'm looking at the numbers here. They're going to be more sneaky, I think, than they should be for this slate. So let's put them on the list.
Yeah, Steele we haven't seen much of, really, really small samples. He's been wild, I think, in the past in the minors, and he's not a big prospect in the organization. Number 37 ranked according to Fangraphs. That's not very good. But just worth mentioning about Sanzatella, and I know people just want to load up on San Diego. It's got a 7 total, but he's got a skill. Like, he gets tons of ground balls. Doesn't give a lot of fly balls, and actually hasn't given a lot of homers this year either, while pitching in cores. 0.77 homers per 9. That's somewhat protected by a lucky 9.9 homer on the fly ball rate, but his ground ball rate this season is 51.3%, but he's getting a ton of hard hits as well. So it kind of sort of goes both ways on that. I mean, he's not a great pitcher, but he does have the ability to get out of jams and get double plays. What are your thoughts here, Grant, as far as speak on cores, whatever, elaborate on what Will was saying, and who else you want to throw out there as kind of sort of interesting stacks for you?
I mean, I'm loading up on cores. I'm going to have a lot of Cincinnati. I'm going to have some Yankees. I'm going to have some Giants and some Dodgers. But the two stacks and some Astros. The two stacks that are really sneaky that are not going to draw much ownership at all is Cleveland and the Royals. Like, Odorizzi's not good. He hasn't been good pretty much since 2-3 outings into the season. And then he just kind of fell off. Over the last 30 days, he's been over almost a 7 xFIP. He's walking guys. Like, he's bad. And these Royal bats aren't going to get any ownership at all. Like, maybe Salvador Perez, but that's really it. I mean, I don't like playing a lot of these bats, but they're cheap and they can make things work really easily. Like, I'm double stacking Coors with the Royals quite a bit, and then Coors with Cleveland. Like, this is
Stop it, Grant. Stop it. One of my secret home run calls is on that team. Get out of my head.
On Cleveland?
No, on the Royals.
No, is it O'Hearn?
Is it Ryan O'Hearn?
No.
Michael Taylor?
No.
Then there's who else is secret?
We'll see. I'll give you the numbers on it.
It's not
Hunter
Nicky
Dozier.
Lopez. It better not be Nicky Lopez.
I'm not following. Listen, we got home run calls coming, Dean. We got them
Okay.
coming.
Well, let me
Michael
talk about
Brantley's got
Cleveland
more
for a
upside than
second.
Nicky Lopez.
Jax
I got a
is
home run
terrible.
call from Cleveland too.
Yeah, Jax is terrible. Takeout starts against the two starts against Chicago, and he's been absolutely horrible, like all season long. Take out those two starts, and 0 strikeouts, 2 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts, 2 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts against Seattle, 2 strikeouts, 1 strikeout. He's been awful. He's been so bad. And he just happened to have 2 starts against the White Sox where he did well. Other than that, like, he's either gotten lucky or done terrible. That's it. That's it. He's not good. Like, I took the under on his strikeouts also for pretty penny. Like, he's bad. I plan on loading up on Cleveland, especially Franmil and Ramirez, who, like, Jackson's giving up a 50% fly ball rate and a 50% hard contact rate to righties. Like, I don't care if some of these guys are bad. Jax is just bad, and people are going to be like, oh, he struck out 10 guys in his last outing. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Apparently, he just has the White Sox number for some reason. And yes, he was throwing more sliders in that last game. I don't care. He's not good. He's bad. Gives up a lot of fly balls. Just play these Cleveland guys who are not going to be owned.
So it's interesting because it depends on what site you're on. Franmil Reyes can be popular on FanDuel, where it's $3K, which is kind of an egregious price. But 5.4 on DK is expensive, and 5.8 for Jose Ramirez. Both those guys are going to be pretty expensive. You can get Miles Straw if you want leading off, but he's obviously not a fun guy to roster. I saw Alex in the chat talking about that Kansas City. Like, Kansas City and DK, man, they are really, really cheap. I mean, look, I don't know. I'm not stacking Kansas City. At least I don't think I am. I cannot imagine playing Lopez on my. Well, I don't.
I thought you wanted to win though.
Why are you trying to assume it's Nicky Lopez, Dean?
No. I'm just kind of looking. I'm thinking how you stack his team up. And Lopez is 3-1, but Benintendi's 2-6. O'Hearn is 2 flat. Taylor 2. Like, those guys will strike out, but they still have plenty of power and they actually hit the ball. BBP guys, Merrifield. I'm pretty sure I saw it earlier today against Odorizzi. That does something for you. And of course, Perez, plenty of power there out of the catcher position. We should turn this over to the chat unless you guys have anything else to say, because we've been compiling questions. We kind of ran long. Of course, if you guys want to get to other questions, well, if we don't, we'll do our best to answer your question. If we don't get your question answered, get it answered on crunch time. Who's on?
Well, let me do this, Dean. Let me go ahead and give out that Kansas City Royals home run call. And that's going to be Mr. Carlos Santana. Odorizzi's going to be out here throwing some sinkers. I mean, the fastball within the 90 to 92 mile per hour variety. Carlos Santana, 426 WOBA, 433 ISO, 42% hard hit rate, 90 average exit velocity of 90 miles per hour, average hit distance of 345, 80% contact rate. I think Carlos Santana has a good day at the plate against Odorizzi. We talked about the Cleveland bat. I said I had a guy from there too. And this one is an easy one. It's not anybody special. It's just Jose Ramirez. This is a fantastic spot for him. Like, just roster the guy. It's probably going over the fence. Those are my 2 guys from those games that we talked about that I wanted to hand out to the people.
Grant, you got any homer calls?
I'll go Franmil, and I'll go O'Hearn from the same teams. And then super easy one, Tatis.
Yeah, he came back. He jumped. I'm sure, Grant, you noticed this. I imagine it as far as his MVP odds. He just took a huge jump last night. Came back last night, banged out a couple homers, and I saw today, I think minus 300 to win the MVP. He doesn't even qualify, by the way. He doesn't even qualify, in MLB. If you look at like leaders of like certain stats, he doesn't fit the number of plate appearances. But assuming he stays healthy the rest of the way, which is kind of sort of somewhat of an assumption, because like my understanding is that shoulder is probably going to need to be repaired at some point, probably in the offseason. But yeah, I guess we have no concerns as far as that shoulder after 2 homers last night, right, Grant? Good to go.
I mean, I have concerns, but I don't care.
Yeah. All right. We have a bunch of stacks we want to talk about. You guys know the stack game. I'm going to throw a team your way. You rank them 1 through 5. 1, you hate them. 5, you love them. 3, you're sort of, in the middle. Grant, you're going to bat first. Well, you bat second. We got to pick the pace up because you're not going to believe this. We're a little bit behind. Grant, rank this team 1 through 5 as far as how much you're prioritizing them from a stack perspective. The LA Dodgers. Don't line up just yet.
3.
I'll go 4.
I'm just refreshing of the old Google, the Bing, whatever you want to call it, trying to find. Rosarena got scratched, by the way. Who's the new player playing for Tampa today?
Margot.
Margot is batting. Well, I think he was already in the lineup. Did they have Rousseau? They added somebody. Well, obviously. All right. The Yankees.
Brett Phillips, I think.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably about 4 on the Yankees today against Suarez.
Grant, does that mean you're kind of sort of indifferent? You gave a 3 to the Dodgers, 3 to the Yankees. You think they're fine, but you're not necessarily.
The high total ones I'm prioritizing are the Rockies, the Padres, and Houston and Cincinnati. So they're all 4s. Cleveland and the Royals are 5s because I'm prioritizing them a lot because they're going to go unowned. And then the other high total teams are the only other ones I'm going with, which are the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Rays, which I'm not sure I'm going to have much of any of them because I just rather play.
We live in a society. Like you gave all the names out and the numbers. We'll save those numbers. Pittsburgh. Nobody talked about Pittsburgh.
3 actually, because I like a mini stack of Hayes, Reynolds, and then throw someone else in just because they're cheap.
Will
0.
All right, Cleveland
5.
You're running out 5 guys for Cleveland, or just like is it a mini stack? How do you get the 5
I thought we
guys?
were doing the rank them 1 through 5 game, Dean.
Yeah.
I know, you broke the rules. You gave a team a 0, so I'm breaking the rules. So I'm going up.
There go my face. There go
Yeah,
my
I'll
face.
5-man stack them.
Okay,
I'll 5-man stack them.
Will Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland. I'm at a 4 as well.
Grant, Minnesota.
3.
1.
Give your KC ranking again, Grant.
5.
Yeah, considering the ownership price, everything, absolutely a 5 on KC today.
We haven't mentioned this team today, Oakland. Bunch of Raiders.
I'm a 3. I'm a 3 on Oakland today. 3. I mean, you guys know I'm at a 5 on Houston. I'm at a 5 on Houston pretty much every day.
Grant, Atlanta.
1.
Oh,
I don't like that ballpark.
I'm at a 3 on Atlanta. Probably won't have too many of them.
Lastly, San Francisco, Grant.
3.
All right. DK, GPP. Grant, you're handling DK. Will, you're handling Fandle. This is DK. GPP pivot, chalk, SB2, or shortstop, or both?
I mean, pivot from Tatis to Story, and SB2 just roll with Tukey unless you really want to go to Wade Miley.
And let me plug this into about Tatis really quickly. We've got him projected for almost 20 fantasy points in lineup HQ today in terms of FanDuel scoring. Initial projection, almost 20 points. That's insane.
Is the Griffin Jack's last outing smoke, or is there something to his pitch selection?
Smoke.
It's smoke.
Any interest in Wade Miley for tournaments? Whoever wants that one.
He's the pivot off of Tukey, but that's really it. Like, you're just expecting Tukey to fail, which Marlins can seem to do against anyone.
Not on FanDuel. I'd rather play Cantrell.
They're asking for my mush play. I guess it's Brantley, although I do think Brantley's fine. I think he's a fine play today.
I mean, you've mushed Brantley multiple times already.
Game stacking cores. Think I can get 10 points from Gratterall. That's the projected opener for the Dodgers. I don't think that's a fair assumption. And you think you're better off with the guy that's more likely to go longer. I don't think Gratterall's the guy that's not going to go more than like an inning or 2, right? I don't think. What do you guys have on that?
I have no interest in him.
Yeah, like 0.2, 2 innings, 0.1, 1. Like he's not going to be. Yeah, you're begging for him to go out there and like pitch an inning in a third and strike out 2 or 3 guys. You really have to thread that needle. I don't think that's.
I'd rather just play Braxton Garrett before I did something like that. I think he's going to give up runs today. But I'm saying if we're trying to go really cheap, like that would. I'd just play Garrett and move on from there.
Yeah, and again, you want to get more information on this, and we're thinking Andre Jackson's going to pitch like 3 to 4 innings or something like that as well. A few more questions, so we step aside and make way for crunch time. I apologize. We don't have time for the DK Cash pitching breakdown or going around the horn, unfortunately. DK GPP, who is the money winner sleeper team? Who is that?
KC.
Let's see. They're asking about Yahoo Cash. I just ran 10 optimal cash lineups. Pay up for Cole and sacrifice a core spat, or 2, then play Tukey. So according to our optimals, the first 10, it's 100% Cole, 80% Gausman, and 20% Toussaint. I'm not playing there today, so I really can't advise, but that's what we have as far as our optimal lineups. Any interest in Wade Miley? We'll talk about that one as well. They're asking me to pronounce the name of the Cubs outfielder. I don't know how to pronounce that. Fargas, that's the last name. Is that the guy's first name? You guys?
Jonah Sweet?
Maybe.
I think that's it. Jonah Sweet.
It could be. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that name before. I'm fairly certain.
Jonathan Fargus. Come on down.
He was on the, I don't know why I think Price is right in my head. All right. Let's step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time. Give me something bold though. I want some bold, this is going to happen. Baseball is goofy. This breaks the slate. What do you have for me, Will?
Oh man, I don't really have too much that's goofy today. What I will say is, let's say Jake Odorizzi gives up 4 home runs today.
Grant?
I'm gonna say Griffin Jacks gives up 6 home runs.
All right, I'll name that in 7 homers. I think the Yankees are being a little too neglected. And how about Joey Gallo? He hits a couple. He hits a pair. There's the bold call. That's kind of bold, right? Left on left. Never do that. But he's got power versus lefties, and Suarez is giving up power to get lefties too. And of course, you guys know about the short porch out there in right field in Yankee Stadium. So yeah, I like the Yankees, and do not leave Gallo out of your Yankee stack. We got to step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time. Of course, you guys are premium members. You all know that goes down. If we did not answer your question, we apologize. Did our best. We'll do better next time. Thank you for asking, though. Thank you for hitting the like button on your way out. Do subscribe, turn on notifications. That was Chief. That was Grant. That was baseball. I was Dean. We're out of here. Holler.